Hello, it's Aganaze Jones again. Yes, long time. Oh well, we might as well have fun with the month of February this time. So, yes, it's a small month, but boy is it packed. And we're going to focus in on the window display here. We have Valentine's. We have, yes, President's Day, but also Aganaze's birthday. That was on President's Day yesterday. We have Mardi Gras, and we have Lunar New Year. You can see that little envelope over in the corner there. And there's more. Okay. So as you come in, you can see this happy birthday was from my mother's 100th birthday, but I thought I'd bring it out. And there's, of course, a nice little Pierrot for Mardi Gras. Now, what we'll do is take our little tour. We'll start with February 2nd, our little groundhog, or shall we say portly groundhog? But anyway, well, how big was that groundhog shadow, good old Punxsutawney Phil? Good Lord, the snow is all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. And my sister in Texas just sent me pictures of 6 inches. I'm like, okay, yeah. So yes, anyway, but that's always kind of a fun little thing to look forward to. Not that we put our full stock in it, but it is fun. And yeah, I think it was right this year for sure. Anyway, we're going to go then to the next day in February, which is February 3rd. Now, not that many people know about this day. This day commemorates the 4 immortal chaplains and the sinking of the USAT Dorchester in World War II. This is the best and most accurately detailed historical book called No Greater Glory by Dan Kurtzman, who is a journalist. And I am so grateful that a cousin gifted us with this book, because my father, I don't know if we can catch a glimpse of him down here or not, but he's there he is, and he was the last enlisted man they found alive off the coast of Greenland. And by the way, my videographer is my trusted Ed, who puts up with me doing these all the time. Thank you, Ed. Okay, so I have devoted a video to the USAT Dorchester and my father's story of his survival and, you know, what happened. So it's, go ahead on Google, or it's on YouTube, USAT Dorchester Aganaze Jones. I've already had a number of people tell me how they really appreciated knowing his story and knowing the story of that event. So please do check that out. Okay, so now we start to move toward the middle of the month. And Lunar New Year. Now, Lunar New Year is not always on the same day because, of course, it's Lunar New Year or Chinese New Year or Asian New Year. And, of course, it's dictated by the moon, just like Easter is. But, of course, a lot of you in your Chinese restaurants are going to see these animals on your little placemats. But there's a lot more to it than just looking up your year and the animal. It is a 12-year cycle. And in addition to it being a 12-year cycle, there are one of the 5 Chinese elements that are ascribed each year to that particular animal. The elements being earth, wood, fire, metal, and water. This year, we are in the year of the metal ox, which kind of reminds me of the heavy metal people, like, you know, he's got horns, throwing horns. That's a joke. Anyway, So you will not, I don't think you see a metal ox for 60 years. I believe they cycle all the way through the elements. But then again, I haven't studied enough to know about that. But it is a lot of fun to just Google or research Chinese New Year horoscope and then put your year in and then see which one you are with the element and the animal. And then it'll let you know what to expect for the year and for your particular animal and element. But anyway, it brings back a lot of memories for me. I particularly resonate with this and always felt that my personal New Year was later in the year, not January 1st, was more towards February, which is odd because, and I never knew about this until I was an adult. But I've had the fortune of, when I lived near Cal State University Northridge, so there were a number of students from all over the world that would live in our building, and a Chinese couple who was studying came to me and said, it is a practice of ours that we take someone to dinner for Chinese New Year, and we have selected you. And I was so excited. They took me out to Monterey Park, which is one of our large Chinese communities. And when we arrived, the parade was just starting, and we were like, oh, a parade. So there we were watching the Chinese dancers, the drummers. I mean, it was just so much fun. And we headed over to the restaurant, and then after that went to a Chinese market, and the woman is explaining, the young woman, a lot of the foods and why they ate them and what it was good for in your body. And I just and then another memory I have is Ed and I going down to Chinatown and seeing that these dancers there were sword dancers and other dancers, and they were like literally flying up in the air, kind of like that Shen Yun that I've never seen yet. So I really enjoy the Lunar New Year for its celebration of life. So I'm going to go on now to our President's Day, because yesterday was my birthday, but it's the well, we celebrate, it's not necessarily their birthdays, but two of our most outstanding presidents. Of course, our founding president, George Washington, who I know whose army almost mutinied against him because they were, just wondering when they were going to finally see through to their democracy. It was getting very difficult for them, but they finally made it through, and our democracy was established, and a lot of safeguards and rules. And what is really, well, very bizarre is that we almost lost that democracy. And we're not out of the woods yet, and we are going to need to step up to the plate and preserve it. And people are going to have to make right choices and right actions to do so. And believe me, I mean that. Then Lincoln, he, of course, remembered, of course, because of the Civil War and then the Emancipation Proclamation, he freed humans that were in bondage. And to this day, still, those very people are not recognized sometimes as full citizens even. They are suppressed in their voting. There's still a lot of work to be done. The white supremacy, unfortunately, has been growing. We've seen documentaries even in Europe and our country, and that has got to stop. We've got to stop giving permission to that. We need to give everybody equal recognition. There is no, in God's eyes, everybody is equal, and after all, we're creations of God. So, I mean, who's trying to argue with that? Like, hello? So, anyway, that is something that we need to continue to work on, which brings to me the next point, Black History Month. So, yes, let's all, the best way, we can take courses, we can go online, but let's dialogue with each other of all groups. I've been fortunate enough to have people tell me things about their culture, even unsolicited, and there's a lot of gratitude there. So yes, let's honor our African Americans in our history. Let's do that during this month, but not just during this month. Let's honor all the people and get to know them a little better and work together, because that's the best way to preserve our democracy. Okay, so now we're going over to Mardi Gras. You saw the little, you saw the poster, and you saw the little PRO, which means clown, little clown, with the birthday sign. And my sister just happened to have been assigned in New Orleans area, Nolans as they would call it, a few different places there. And she very much resonates with that subculture, if you will. What's great about Nolans is you have this, meaning Mardi Gras is what I'm trying to say, is I have a memory of being there with her and attending the parades and, the pageants and, or just being in that culture, the king cakes, it was just a festive time. And of course, there are other areas of the world that enjoy it as well. And of course, what it is all about is just eating all the food you can, really until midnight comes of Ash Wednesday, and then you are starting to fast and give up things until Easter, which is actually, it's a good spiritual tradition, but it's also a good physical tradition. We all need cleansing and clearing, so actually it's very timely. So then we, look forward to our Easter during that time. So, given that, I'm going to go to our last, but not least, and of course there are lots of other things we can say that are celebrated, but these are the main ones, and the ones that I personally, and I think most people resonate with. Valentine's Day. Saint Valentine, I don't know if people know how he was murdered very brutally by the emperor of the time, because the emperor made an edict that young men couldn't marry because he wanted them in his army. Well, St. Valentine was holding marriages secretly, and the emperor found out, and so he had him beaten and then beheaded. So that was pretty bizarre. But anyway, so we celebrate, yes, the romantic love, because that's what he was known for, but we also celebrate the true unconditional agape love, the love of all that is. And I'm not just talking about people, I'm talking about respect for animals. I'm talking about reverence for all of God's creation, each and every detail. We're talking about the air. We're talking about the global warming. We have to restore our earth. We have to restore our air, our soil, our water, our animals, our plants, our people. There's a lot of restoration to do right now in our country, for our earth, our world, and our universe. So our work is cut out for us. However, as we work, we continue to celebrate. And many blessings and love to you. Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye.